What's up, guys? This is Kyrie with White Rabbit Psychedelics, and I get a lot of questions of, is it safe? If I take a microdose capsule, will I go crazy? I'm a little weary. So I just wanted to do a quick little video on what happens when you take a pill, and just let you know that nothing crazy is gonna happen, nothing weird is gonna happen. I got a capsule right here. This is pure grade A. Psilocybin. I'm gonna take a capsule and I'm gonna just show you guys that just nothing can happen. Huh.
The claustrum is a really thin sheet of gray matter in the brain, tucked deep within each of the hemispheres of the brain.
Fred believes the claustrum's central location and shape suggest it regulates communication between the departments.
What happens next is that we seem to observe a radical change in the way that brain regions talk to each other. And it may be within this context that we're experiencing learning and a possible even rewiring of the circuits that govern our behavior. And it may be that it's that radical reorganization that allows people to encounter new psychological insights that they hadn't encountered before.
It's almost like they've seen this kind of grand menu within their mind that they weren't aware of, that this greater number of possibilities that they can explore.
It's like reprogramming the operating system of a computer. You're getting down to very basic code level changes that can enduringly change someone going forward.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com, of course, Columbian Exchange, of course, White Rabbit Psychedelics, of course, representing you, of course, right here for another episode of Spiritual Shit. My name is Kyrie, my real name, the name my mama gave me. Yeah, I'm just here to help people along the spiritual journey because I care about your spiritual development, little personal, professional things about me. I'm an author. You can Google me, Kyrie Anthony. I've written books such as Chakra Nova, Astrology Explained, The Shadow Work Journal and Handbook, to name a few. I'm working on a new book released January 23rd. Pre-orders are available at columbianexchange.com. That title is called A Spiritual Being, Having a Human Experience. And what that book is going to be a culmination of all of the work that I've done after Chakra Nova. So it's more of 2020 spirituality, what I would like to call it, postmodern spirituality, incorporating shadow work, sidereal astrology, and of course chakras, connecting all of the dots and self-actualizing and self-realizing, just in case you want to. This is deep occult material, so I realized that this conversation is not for everyone. But if you can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, you will definitely be helped this afternoon. So peace to whoever decides to join, and peace to whoever wants to have this conversation with me. So first off, the last video that I did was titled Emotions Are Illusions. And I went through a whole hour and a half going through the rigmarole of how one must examine said emotions. Now, that's the intellectual portion of it. The intellectual portion of it is not the application of it. It's very easy for people to get on this platform and give you information. So let's do a normal analogy of spiritual information, statistics of a basketball game, right? Millions of people play basketball. Millions of people watch basketball. Only 10 people are in the game. So I would rather talk to the 10 magicians than the million people watching the game. Very few are going to be putting up the stats. Most people will record the stats. LeBron James had 30 points yesterday. It's the normal conversation you would have. But this conversation is for the players, for the hoopers, for the ballers, in a spiritual sense. People who are willing to do the work, people who are willing to practice, because the initial information that we put forward is that emotions are illusions. That's a very tough pill to swallow for most people. Let's talk about this. Your emotions were inherited from your parents. When your mom and dad is in the room, you're not going to be the same person that you were if they weren't in the room in most cases, especially if you were a child, because your parents have a fixed set of emotions. The shit that you find funny, they don't find funny. However, when you get into a space of why did my mom and dad act the way that they act? Because they inherited emotional fixes from a generation of a people in a society that don't exist today. So if you are emotionally, this is why when shit happens in the news or shit happens on social media, that emotional illusion of back in my day, everything was great. Now we just now getting on here and we're going to be getting into some deep stuff, and this might be a long video, and there's not a lot of people in the chat because it's not a lot of people that's going to play basketball. Most people going to watch basketball and hear the stats. So with that being said, and when you talk about the fans, right, of the NBA, what about the fans? The fans are perfect. The fans is always right. The basketball players is playing for the fans. They ain't playing for their check. So everything that I said thus far, are y'all with me, or am I kind of like in a weird, is it weird? Because we're going to get occult and we're going to get metaphysical. So the people who are with me from the beginning, hopefully y'all stick with me, and I'm going to check every once in a while to see if y'all are on the same page. One's in the chat if what I'm saying is making sense so far. Because y'all real quiet in the chat, and that's okay because y'all probably taking notes. But okay, as long as Chris with me, I don't care. Hey, listen, Chris, if you with me, bro, that's all that fucking matters to me, dog. If Chris with me and my wife with me, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit, man. Less is more. It's all about the players in the game. Everybody not going to play. It's going to be a million fans watching football. It's only going to be one Thurman Thomas, one Emmitt Smith, one Troy Aikman, and they actually doing the work, and we cheering them along. Now, in real life, if y'all with me, I want to confirm something. Is it normal to watch other people's life than it is, because it will be a million or 1,000 different influencers, entertainers, artists, and we know everything. He broke up with her. This happened with them. And we will feel a certain way of what they doing and what they not doing, and have a conversation about, let's just say, Kanye West. And we don't know what that man doing right now. He could be getting plugs into his brain of what he about to say next. We just don't know. What do we know? Our shit. But how do we get to our shit if we have emotions in the way? We don't. Why? Because emotions are illusions. It's like saying, I know all of the stats to the game. That way I know who is going to win. That don't make sense. when you actually, like, when you be like, well, if I do a ritual this way, I'm gonna change the events of the outcome. It don't really matter if a person is saying, well, you live with your mama and your ass stinks, so that means you ain't gonna make no money. If I'm in tune with my shit, a person can feel any type of way. I can feel any type of way. I have to get to a point of what is the point? And I promise you, you might think you get into the point if you in your emotions, because you following your emotions. You feel good this day and you feel bad the next day. And if you feel better than you did yesterday, you might think you having progress until you start feeling like shit. Right? Because everybody like, oh, I'm having progress. And then they fall off the face of the earth for years and years and years. And you're like, what happened to you? Oh, I was in a deep, dark depression. I want you to avoid that deep, dark depression. I want you to understand that your emotions are illusions, because if you follow your emotions, you will end up in a place like our parents, no disrespect, but fixed, crystallized into an emotional pattern, unable to receive new information for transformation. Very important stuff. So the elements that we are going to be talking about today in the realm of occult metaphysics, because we want to be precise when we're talking about occultism and metaphysicians, because we are magicians. We are the people that are in the game, right? So if you say, I'm going to be playing basketball and you throw me a football, I won't be able to perform at no level at the game. So when you say east or west, or when you say water or air, you need to know what the fuck you're talking about. If you pull a tarot card and you get a sword, you need to know exactly what we're dealing with. It's not trying to trick you. You don't have to read into it. That's what I learned early in my spirituality. When you look at a card or you're working with your spirit, they're not trying to trick you. You're going to trick yourself. What does a sword mean? I don't know. What does it mean? You tell me. It can mean a variety of things. No, nigga, we're talking about the mind. We're talking about thought. We're talking about focus. We're talking about clarity. Air, okay? The mind. We're not talking about oxygen. We're not talking about running fast and wind. We're talking about mind, because we're dealing with occult metaphysics, and we want to have a basketball so we can shoot the basketball in the net. Don't give me a soccer ball. I won't be able to play effectively. So if you're worried about your finances, earth, south, knowledge, personal grounding, physical body, you might be out of sync. If you're worrying about passion, sexuality, baby daddy, baby mama, boyfriend, girlfriend, you are going to be out of sync with this relationship, with this conversation and your relationship, because you don't understand the mental part. Let me extrapolate and elucidate your mind. Your mind and your body is two separate entities. Your mind is God. Your body is flesh. The problem is you focus on the flesh and don't focus on the mind. The mind becomes a mine. You know what a mine is? What is a mine? A mine is something that you step on and you blow up. So the person is like, I want to do something that makes me feel good. I want to do something that makes me feel great. Okay, let's just sit in this room and meditate. That's boring. That is no fun. That's not interesting to me. What they're really saying is, my mind is a minefield. Why? Because I haven't come to the realization of glamour. Whereas I want something that is going to adorn my flesh and my fleshly life in order for me to feel good. What's the catch? When you get the adornments, when you get the trinkets, when you get the accessories, when you get the souvenirs, is your mind any better? No. Because if it was, you would put out a book. You would be doing course after course, lecture after lecture of how to have a certain, if you get these trinkets and accessories, a motherfucker would do a lecture at a college and talk about how the different adornments have, you would see it somewhere. It would be a book, but you never seen anything like that. The more that I get accessories, the more I feel complete. Why? Because the earth and the air are not the same in the context of understanding. There is one source. There is see, we're advanced because we have a mind, but we do not understand our mind, and we do not know how to use our mind in a certain type of way. Spiritual glamour will say, I need to listen to a very spiritual person and be under their wings in order for me to have some sort of spiritual grace. The reality is, if you were to understand that a clear mind is all you need to be at your spiritual height, but your mind will constantly, and what I just said was a truth, but your mind will naturally analyze, break it down. Well, this nigga kind of ugly. Why should I listen to him? He said that all I need is a clear mind to receive my divinity. Because what a clear mind does, it allows you to receive from the soul perpetually, all the time. What emotions do is block you. Now, water is emotions. Emotions in this context, we're not talking about emotions mean energy and motion, hood. We're talking about when you feel bad, nigga. We're talking about when you're sad and when you're lonely and you're depressed. Do y'all understand what I'm talking about when I say emotions? I'm not trying to be deep today. I'm trying to, if your mama is listening, this can help your mama. If your children is listening, this can help your children. Because the reality is this: glamour is a world problem. And if your children been crying over McDonald's, they're going to be crying over a no good baby daddy. Just give it some time. We're talking about being irrational. We're talking about blocking your blessings. We're talking about not being in your highest self because you're figuring, if I get McDonald's, my life would be better. And you telling your kids, McDonald's don't matter. But here you are at the same point saying, well, if I just had a man, if I just had a bigger house, if I just had a car, if I just had a trinket, I would be better. We are talking about occult metaphysics. So if you got $1 million in your bank account, this conversation serves you. If you got $10 in your bank account, this conversation serves you, because at the spiritual level, none of that shit matters. At the spiritual level, we are all the same. Why can't you see that and understand that? Glamour. This is not a personal problem. This is a world problem. Nobody is speaking to this shit because they suffering from it. Once you understand glamour, you'll see it everywhere. Glamour will make you get off the internet, because then you're like, well, shit. They have an emotional expectation that they think that the internet is somehow going to match up to it. Like glamour and how girls look, like in people's mind, they're like, if I look good, I will get good. And if I don't think on a certain level, and if I don't feel on a certain level, that don't really fucking matter because my ass is fat. Glamour. Why? Because at a spiritual level, if you got a fucking pancake, you are a fucking divine goddess. At a spiritual level, if you slightly overweight or morbidly obese and you are a fucking dime, there is no comparison. But if you honestly feel that, no, the problem is how I look, this bitch look good, this nigga got money, it's not even on them, it's on you, because you are suffering from glamour. You have an emotional expectation that hasn't been met. So what I want us to focus on is how we're thinking and how we're feeling. If we're feeling bad over anything, we are suffering from glamour and not the thing that we are imagining that we're suffering from. Why? Because how you feel in a negative sense creates a hallucination. You ever heard the saying, all of the stuff you fear and worry about, then it don't ever really happen for real? But that don't stop you from fearing and worrying about shit. And if you start thinking about shit in a negative sense, guess what's going to happen? You're going to feel in the way of you thinking. So I want you to think in the space of you being a divine god, goddess, mythological character, a fucking Toy Story animation. I want you to think of yourself as anything but a wretched human. Because it's not necessary. Because that's just the adornment. That's the accessory. That is the appetizer. How you think and how you feel is going to be very important from now until as long as you exist. And this isn't about me. This is about you. So and this is why in the background you see steam or you see fog. Steam and fog is a culmination of water and air. But water and air create steam and fog. Now, in Detroit, I've been waking up early and I've been inundated with fog. And I can tell you about fog today because I've been seeing it 2 mornings in a row. Fog prevents you from seeing everything that there is that needs to be seen. It could be I ride down the same street, but if fog is on the street, I can't see shit. It is it boggles my mind a little bit. Like, I'm like, oh, fuck. Is this a whole different dimension? Am I in heaven? Like, and the further you get, the more you start to see. But like at the onset, you're like, where am I? Right? So when you are not thinking correctly in your divine goddess and God self, you are in a fucking fog. So when you look inside of yourself and you don't see anything, right? So you don't see anything. So now if you go and meditate and you see a fog or you see darkness, you're not going to want to meditate, are you? However, if within this conversation, if within this share, you get to understand that clarity above the fog will allow you to see, and we're talking about the inner world, meditation, but not meditation in darkness, not meditation in fog, because that's no fun, is it? We're talking about meditation and clarity. We're talking about meditation and dissipation of glamour. The only problem is that people will say, I don't suffer from glamour. I see things as it is. That is the only problem. If you could admit that, well, it's kind of foggy in this bitch, then the idea is to pierce it, right? Go further into it and see, oh shit, it's just the same old neighborhood. My view was slightly obstructed. If you don't have the clarity within yourself and you don't see the God within yourself, then I failed at my job. My job today is for Black people to look within themselves over time in sequential order and see the God within themselves, because everybody else is having you in a state of glamour, spiritual glamour nonetheless. Listen to me, come to my lecture, do this thing, got you on a fucking, these niggas are a bill. One's in the chat. These conscious niggas are a bill. They're not giving you the clarity that you so desire, but who gives a fuck when you're in the fog? When you're in the fog, you're in the fog, and if you can't see, you can't see. And if you can't see, there is only one thing that you can fucking do. Buy shit. Fuck shit. Watch shit. Do shit. Because you can't see. You have no idea of how powerful you are. You don't meditate. You don't introspect. You don't reflect. You think you don't listen to you don't listen. Give these conscious niggas a shot and some effort. They will present information on the daily and say the same shit every fucking day. Let's give them a round of applause. But even with that being said, you niggas not listening for real. You still in the fog. When you in the fog, you throwing arrows at shit. You just doing random shit. Fuck that. Clarity. Clarity above all things. How do you receive clarity? By trinkets. And if you suffering right now, and if you struggling, and if you can't get a break, but you can say, oh, I love this person, this my nigga, this my friend, then your ass don't listen, because them niggas been telling you the truth. Girl, you so talented. One's in the chat. Girl, you need to start a business. Girl, I will help you if you did this. Girl, what you do? I don't know. Bitch, you in the fog. You need to see with all of your might the greatness within you, because it ain't no I don't know in this shit. It's only affirmation, dedication, proclamation, presence, clarity, moving one step to the next step. If the bitch said that you was talented, but you like, well, I'm not fucking Beyonce, you wasn't singing since you was 12 in hotels and motels, ho, and goddamn malls. Wasn't singing out on the fucking corner in fucking Texas, sweating your fucking weave out. So don't compare your greatness to another person's greatness. Hey, if they said you got skills at doing hair, well, just one foot in front of the other foot. All right, I'll do your hair. Just let me take pictures and put you on my TikTok. All right, I do your hair, but shit, you got to do my nails and we can cross promote. Shit, let's open a boutique together. She do clothes, she do hair, she do nails. The worst part of glamour is feeling sorry for yourself. The worst part of glamour is feeling sorry for yourself. So when you feel sorry for yourself, guess what you don't do? Utilize your network of people who going through the same shit that you going through. Motherfuckers a trauma bond talk about the niggas that you with. No, the trauma bond is you and your girlfriends not running up a whole bag together. The trauma bond is you not speaking life into your friend group. The trauma bond is that y'all all sit in glamour in the fog together and say, well, since we're not gonna heal, let's just do shit. Fuck it. No, let's spiritually do shit. Cause now when we go to a fucking retreat, now we can feel better than these motherfuckers. I feel better than you. My job's done here. But what about your healing? What about your clarity? Huh? What the fuck is that? I wasn't in here for this. I was in here so I can take a picture in the fucking high rise and fucking show you that I'm better than you. That's all I was doing this whole entire time. And since most people are followers and most people are in the fog, we just want to follow the next nigga that's doing better than us. I'm here to tell you it's about clarity this evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you find this damn video. Clarity within yourself. So let's get into the occult metaphysical conversation. So one's in the chat, if y'all can understand, we talking about air, we talking about water, and we talking about fog. And what is a fog? A fog is blocking your clarity. You can be in the same neighborhood, be in a fog, and that neighborhood is unrecognizable because you can't see like you normally see. So what does glamour do? Glamour puts you in an emotional fog. You competing, comparing, working to be somebody else that you think is better than you or worse than you. So let's deal with it. We want to be present today. We want to be present every day. We don't even want to reference, well, Hood, you put out the Maya and Glamour video. Fuck this video once it's over with. Once you watch it and you understand what I'm trying to say, don't refer back to this to prove your point to a nigga. This is not to prove a point to nobody. The purpose of this video is if for people who are struggling but don't know why the fuck they struggling. People who listen to spiritual people and get the information and the stats, but want to be a magician. They don't want to be a fan. Some of y'all want to be fans, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that. I'm saying that this is the fucking training for the NBA. This is fucking training camp. We about to play in the game tomorrow, nigga. You better make a shot. And if you want to fanboy and standboy and talk about the spiritual group that you in, I'll let you stay in that fog, because most people aren't strong enough to recognize that they are powerful, because the glamour of self-pity is much more comfortable. Having a bunch of bitches feel sorry for you. You know how spiritual niggas talk to you as if something is wrong with you. One's in the chat. If that's aggravating to you, because it's aggravating to me, I might just be listening to your video, having a great fucking day, and your video now is telling me how fucked up I am as a human being. That's aggravating. I'm here to talk about divine things, occult metaphysics, spiritual school, being able to play in the fucking game. That's what I'm about. Do niggas talk to you as if something wrong with you? Like you just, motherfucker, I just came off of a photo shoot. I got money in the bank account, nigga. I'm just trying to get some gnosis and have a spiritual conversation, and all you can think is that I'm struggling. All you can think is that I'm having a hard go of it. Why? Because these spiritual niggas is con artists. Why is they con artists? Because they in the fog and they want other people in the fog, so y'all all can be in the fog together. Have y'all ever heard of the saying, the blind leads the blind? I've been this way. I'ma stay this way, and I don't give a fuck. Niggas come and go because they dick riders. I'm here, gonna be here, gonna stay here, because I speak through channel. I speak through truth. I speak through ascended masters. And I'm present. And I don't gotta live off my rep. I can come with a spiritual message that can speak directly to the aid of what we need in the present moment. And it's not even an act of pride. It's almost an act of wonder. Like, what the fuck? Almost feel like I be trolled a lot of times. And even if I know a specific truth in reference to divinity, I'ma still stay humble, because the reality of the fog is real. The reality of illusion is real. Let me tell y'all an emotional expectation. I say this emotional expectation all the time. I'm gonna bring it out of retirement. I used to want to daydream about driving in a Caprice with 20-inch rims and have a bitch on my side and a bitch in the back seat and diamond chains on and ride through the hood and go to the party and dance with the bitches and everybody say, Kyrie, you the man. I would fantasize about this shit. Now, me working at my factory job and taking the bus to and fro to work, I could have been studying some occult metaphysics. I could be working out, but here I am feeling bad because I ain't riding on 20-inch rims. Now, I'm not saying that riding on 20-inch rims is bad. I'm saying if I didn't take the incremental steps to get to 20-inch rims, I shouldn't feel bad about it, because feeling bad about it definitely I never got the fucking Caprice. I mean, it's like a psychology of being a street nigga that is a glamour. The problem with that glamour is these niggas really went to jail. One's in the chat. chat, these niggas really going to jail. These niggas really getting arrested. These niggas really dying off of a fake. And to talk to a nigga, he will really have a fixed emotion crystallization of, yes, I ride or die for my niggers. I am a gangster. The problem with glamour, the problem with Maya is that it's not from the soul, but a person could meditate and manifest on it and create it. You think it's crazy, but it's niggas who not gangsters acting like they gangsters right now. It's girls who not hoes. They not hoes. If you called them a hoe, they would get offended. Got OnlyFans. Well, that don't make me a hoe. Just because I walk around with a gun and throw up a set, that don't mean I'm a gangster. That don't mean I'm a killer. That don't mean I deserve to get shot because I'm a gangster. No, it don't. But at the same time, it ups your probability. That don't mean I'm a hoe because I'm on OnlyFans. Yeah, it don't. But it up the fucking your probability you showing your pussy for $10 a month. It kind of make it look weird. Cause we only dealing with probabilities. I'm gonna say a whole bunch of shit that y'all know in reference for y'all to remove the flaw. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. But the other side of the coin is whatever you do, you go and die by. Why not have a spiritual mental clarity of what that is? I'm cool with dying for my family. I'm cool for that. If a motherfucker's like, well, you or the family. All right, nigga, I guess it's me. I'm clear on that. Now, if you clear on the gangster lifestyle, cool. If you clear on the OnlyFans, cool. But usually, we dealing with Maya. And Maya is something that happens in human brains. The human brain constructs these experiences of good and bad. So we're talking about when you're young and you're a child and you have no control over the situation. Your emotions, some people feel like, well, if I wasn't born, my mom would have been, or is it my fault, mom? Is it my fault, mom? And your mom or dad might be, you little shit, if it wasn't for you. And you create this complex of importance in a reference of a state where you're not really important at all. So let me explain something. It'd be a rich person who would say, man, my mama wasn't shit. My daddy wasn't shit. All they did was work and give me money. It's a poor person say, my mama, my daddy wasn't shit. All they did was sit on their ass and we ain't never have no money. Yeah, they spent time with me, but I wish they would have gave me some fucking money, right? The rich person say, my mama and dad, they gave me money. They ain't spent time with me. Stupid bitches. See how it work? You powerless on whether your mom and dad gonna work or not work, be rich or not rich, but somewhere in your emotions, you feel responsible for it. And if you are able to absorb the reason for your mom and dad being fucked up or great, this is where you got T.I., son, and rich people's sons out of pocket. Why? Because they think their parents' success is their success. At an energetic level. Like me, if my daddy was rich at this point, I'd be like, daddy, you be rich. Just can I get them direct deposits every 2 weeks? I just want to live my life at this point. Hey man, do you. Whatever you got to do, as long as I get them direct deposits, hey, if you want to show your ass, I'll be the one with the camera. I'll post it for you. So, because glamour is a world problem, you will see people act in weird and strange ways. But let's talk about you. Glamour is a problem because you can't see the spiritual machinations and workings of the universe. Now, as a spiritual being having a human experience, the spiritual machinations and workings will say your mom and dad was a piece of shit because it was going to give you character development. So when you was able to become an adult, you was able to move in a room full of vultures, right? Tell them how it feels to be taken over. The industry shady, it need to be taken over. That type of energy, because your mom and dad, they didn't give you the thing, so it gave you that character development. Now, if your parents was rich, you had enough resources that once you got your gumption about yourself, you could easily invest. It would put you in a space where if you needed to go to Alhambra to do a ritual, good thing mom and dad is rich, because now I got fucking frequent flyer miles, right? So whatever situation, the clarity of it will make it say, okay, cool, right? I got exactly what I need from them niggas. Glamour says, something wrong with this picture. I should have had a parent like this. And then you'll be like, well, if you was rich, you wish your parents was poor? No, I ain't saying that. You know, and then when your parents give you love, you like, so you mean to say that you want to take the love that your parents gave away from you? No, I ain't saying all of that. I'm just saying they could have did more. And this is all glamour. Glamour gonna keep you stagnated. Glamour gonna have you looking at your partner in a way that you can't absolutely see him. Because let's get into the being able to see the spiritual workings of how things are. When you in glamour, you just gonna be just grabbing any old nigga, right? Grabbing any old girl. Come here. Gotcha, bitch. Come here to my room. Let me eat you out, right? Let me try to turn you out. Let me show you my sexual prowess, right? All in glamour. Did you like it? Glamour. Was it good? Glamour. Because you don't know. You hope it's good. You hope she like you, right? When you see the spiritual machinations, the spiritual workings, the dreams, the coincidences, the synchronicities, the vibrational match, the ability to be comfortable and relax. I'm gonna tell you, when your parasympathetic system react, when you in the presence of your partner, the first time I met my wife, I fell asleep. I don't even remember. I just passed the fuck out. I instantly felt safe. I don't even think I imagine the first time you ever meet in a nigga, he say, hi, how you doing? My name Kyrie. I passed out. I blacked the fuck out, right? She just stood there. She just sat there with me. Like, damn, empathetic as fuck. Like, damn, you must be working hard. You must be tired. Because if y'all know, I was living with my aunt. My aunt had the D-boys. I was on high stress. I was praying for a fucking miracle. My wife came in my life, bro. I fell straight to fucking sleep. I'm safe now. I found her. When you spiritual, you know. When you in glamour, you're not that fucking sure. I mean, it seemed like the neighborhood. I mean, you could be in the fog. Y'all ever drove in the fog? Like, where the fuck am I right now? Let me roll down the windows. Let me run the windshield wipers. You cut on the lights. The lights make it worse. What does that mean? What does that mean, Kyrie? You cut on the lights and the light make it worse. All of that spiritual shit that you do without removing glamour is only going to make the fog worse. One's in the chat if y'all with me. I need to know if y'all with me or y'all not with me. Because this is a spiritual conversation. This is a spiritual conversation. In this world, people are not what they appear to be. So in glamour and relations, you might date this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person. Do this sound familiar? This person. In glamour, you don't know. When you get the presence of God in your life, which is clarity, you should fight for clarity. You should detail clarity like you detail your Halloween costume. The effort and energy that you put into your costume, because that was glamour too. That epitomizes glamour, where you want people to look at you, play dress up. And it's okay if you're not a spiritual being. It's okay if you want to sit in the stands and watch the other spiritual beings live their life. Get off the internet. No, I can't do that. I can't do that because if they're not watching me live their life, they might not live their life the way that they're supposed to. At all times, in every situation, in every relationship, every reading, every conversation, every time you get your ass ate, every time you fell off your bike, every time you chipped your tooth, every time you ran into a wall, every time you got an injury, disease, have all been understood or a lack of understanding of spiritual laws and spiritual principles. The reason that black people can't see it is because we inherit spiritual principles from slaves. When we need to inherit spiritual principles from the gods themselves. But if we're not clear on our inner life, we can't channel correctly because we're too busy trying to impress people. People want to have their business be successful before they get clarity. What's the problem with that, Hood? Why is it a problem to have my business success? Because what if you get clarity and you find out there's a different reality for you that's more of an assured success, internally satisfying you? What if you start your business and it's successful and you can't handle it because you're getting 1,000 orders a day? Now, let's flip it, 1,000 orders a day, 10 times a day. Now you got 100,000 people emailing you, calling you a piece of shit, all because you was in a fog. I'm just saying, extreme example. But what's the most problem in business? Google this shit when you get the time. Scaling. Scaling is a real problem. Businesses aren't necessarily built to scale unless they're built to scale. And when they're not built to scale, if you're not successful, then you wouldn't even understand that more money equals more problems. More taxes. So if you don't spend your money effectively, then you got to pay taxes. Then you might be robbing a bank. And the motherfucker like, why you robbing a bank? And you was posting on Instagram that you made $100K with your business. Oh, I didn't pay business taxes and they fined me and audited me. Now I got to motherfucking steal and rob from niggas. How did you get here? Oh, I was living in the fog. I was following glamour. I seen this other bitch be successful on Instagram and she had a course on how to be successful just like me and I took it. I was successful at being just like her. Now I'm robbing banks. I took this goddess course from another bitch that's telling me how to be a goddess like her. But what about your ancestors? What about your deities? What about your energies? Well, I don't know, Hood. I'm not clear. This is why glamour is a world's problem. Glamour represents what is not. And these are the appearances. These are what things seem to be. But what I'm saying is there are spiritual principles and spiritual workings in everything that's happening. What is a spiritual principle and a spiritual working, Hood? It's a solution to a problem. Because the spiritual in you says every problem comes with a solution. I am that solution. I am that problem. We do shadow work. We figure out our problems. I don't feel like I need to do shadow work. Good talk. Figure out our problems. Why is that so powerful, Hood? Because our problems equate to our solutions. Okay, talk metaphysical to me. Our darkness equals our lightness. All hood, I've been just trying to be all good and all light. I haven't really been dealing with my darkness because I don't feel like I have it. See, my problem is I feel bad for myself and I have self-pity. People have been mean to me and fucked up to me. That's glamour. No, that's not glamour. That's really what happened. You have an expectation that people are supposed to treat you good. For what? For what? Now, you might say, well, they get treated good over there. They get treated good over there. I should be getting treated good over here. Did you take that course? Did you ask them questions? Did you do the things that they did for them to have the same responses? Yes, I did. How do you know? I just assumed. And my assumptions are always correct. You know this. I don't even know why we're having this conversation. So, answer this question for me one time for the one time, because I want to make sure that y'all understand me, because we're dealing with occult metaphysics, we're dealing with spiritual knowledge, spiritual development, and these things can be somehow tricky. Sometimes niggas don't know how they don't know because they never played the game. They just understand the stats. So, in order to be in your tip-top spiritual shape, in your opinion, should you study the universe within yourself, your shadow work, your astrology, your chakras, get an understanding of it? Or should you focus on the deception that takes place in the physical world? One, should you study yourself? Two, should you study the physical world? Quick little questionnaire. Quick little survey. All right, so let's talk about illusion and glamour. Should you follow yourself, study yourself, or should you study what's going on in the physical world? What you see here is a gunshot. When you study the fog, what you realize about the fog is that it's not there. The nature of the fog is an illusion. So we use fog, illusion as analogies for the physical world. You have to be mature enough and strong enough to understand it. Because you might be inundated with goals and ambitions that say to yourself, once I get this goal and ambition, I will be in a better spot. But you don't know that. The only thing that you know is this moment and what you might do next. And then you find yourself in another moment and what you might do next. The more you study the external world, the more you don't move into the next step that you need to take. Thinking about the grand scheme and the big goals and the shit that niggas are doing only stagnates your growth. The purpose of this conversation is to obliterate and clear yourself of the fog and not study it. Because when you are... The thing about the fog, y'all ever been driving in the fog? Can you run into the fog? Or does the fog seem to always escape you, be slightly ahead of you? Like a little bit ahead of you. And you could drive real fast and you can't, and it'll still be ahead of you. It's like this veil or bubble around you. To be able to grasp it and grab some fog and put some fog in a jar and put it under a microscope is impossible. This is the nature of the illusionary physical world. You gotta have ears to hear, you gotta have eyes to see, or else you'll continuously chase the fog. You'll continuously try to figure out if the fog is real or not. But at a certain point, if you done drove enough, you done seen enough fog, you understand that it has a particular nature about it. And the only thing that I need to do is pay attention to what I can see, what I can handle, until the fog rises and now you can see clearly and you have a better view of things. So the trouble is trying to balance both. And if you can balance both, balance both. But the trouble of balancing both is that it doesn't dissipate the fog. In a spiritual development, you need to be clear on what source is telling you to do, even if you're making a lot of money doing it, even if she look good that you fucking her, even if it feels like a good situation. There will be times where you feel like it's a good situation and spiritually it's not in alignment with you. Only when you find the spiritual alignment, then you can look and say, oh, I wasn't never supposed to be with y'all hoes anyways. Oh, I wasn't never supposed to work at that job anyways. But if you're not clear, you will latch on to whatever you have, and whatever you're doing is going to be the greatest thing ever, because it has to be. Because nobody can really verbalize the fog. Because everybody has ambitions and goals. Nobody says, you know what? Fuck that shit. Fuck that ambition. Fuck that goals. Even if I say it, you might be triggered into saying, oh no, I can't do that. I have a emotional fixation of where I want to be. And if I don't get there, I am going to be in trouble. No. Worst glamour is I am here to help people and lead people and make this world better because God has put a special calling on me. I am special because I'm spiritual. Glamour. Wherever you look, you're going to find glamour. Like being in a house of mirrors. You're always going to find that mirror and you're going to say, well, this mirror is good. No, this has to be the real mirror. When you walk around the house of mirrors and you're like, okay, no, this is the real mirror. No, still an illusion. All right, let's go walk around the house of mirrors. This is a real illusion. This is real. No, the only thing that's real is you. And everything in the house of mirrors is a reflection. If you fixate on on the nature of the mirrors, it would not help you get out of the house of mirrors. You would need to go within yourself and say, oh shit, everything that I'm seeing is a reflection of me. Now, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I want to do? Get the fuck out these mirrors. So you don't say, well, if I put draperies over this mirror, I can survive. You don't say, well, if I go to this mirror, because this mirror got HD quality, it'll be better. It's really something that most people wouldn't never really understand. It's easy to get on the internet and watch videos on how men are better or how women are better. Red pill versus women's feminists and all of these particular conversations, all glamour. Motherfucker will tell you a stat. Well, 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of women's file divorces. Women must not be shit. So you can listen to a video, deal with these stats, meet your divine feminine that's going to love you, ride for you. But since you under the glamour of the red pill community, you can't even have a conversation on who this person is in front of you. Everything that you see is in reference to your red pill filter or your feminist filter or whoever's ideology you're under's filter that tells you men are like this, women are like that. If you were clear, you would know who is for you and who not for you. We're talking about psychic abilities. I know bitches who read cards and women who say, oh, she is a dope ass reader and she don't even know who her baby daddy is. She trying to get a reading from me. Do you think that Terrence is my baby daddy or Larry is my baby daddy? Can you pull some cards for me, hood? Same person that's giving readings to the whole hood and the community. Glamour. Because what you want to be ain't always what you are. And what you need to be might be a person that need to learn a little more, progress a little more, take the steps necessary to eventually be that person. Ambition within itself is empty. Wanting to be something is empty. And a lot of people will say, this is what I want to do very badly, but let me go home and watch this Netflix real quick. Because I like to have a lot of balance. In reference to your soul and your intuition and the things that your soul is telling you, it's giving you shit all the time. It's visions there all the time. We're not clear because we don't want to shoot the fucking illusion. We don't want to break the illusion. We want to keep the emotional fixity. We want to keep the illusion and glamour up. That's what causes us emotional emotional strain, strong emotional reactions, because the illusion and glamour is supposed to be something that you can rely on. I've been looking in this mirror so long, it must be the truth of what I'm seeing. My expectation, goals, and emotional reactions gotta be real. So when it comes to me living my life, I don't have to do any changes on me. Because the problem is the world. That's what an emotional reaction is. This person is so bad that I must beat their motherfucking ass. Versus walking away, finding a solution. And when you know that you've been at a spot in your life where you would have just clicked off and beat somebody's ass or did something crazy, and then you got older and said, man, I could have handled that a whole lot better. So in any situations, Spirit is telling you, hey, you can handle this situation a whole lot better. Can you see? Can you see? And if you can't see, then you're not going to move in accordingly. And if you're trying to be and you're not getting the results that you need, you probably need to learn. There's a difference between learning and knowing and hoping and wishing. You hope and wish when you're in a fog. You should have the affirmation and the comfortability that this motherfucker is going to love me from here to eternity. Because I can see it within myself. If you in a relationship right now and you don't know for real and you ain't really sure, it don't got nothing to do with that person. It got something to do with you not being clear. And since it's a world problem that's not being solved, we're in a society of people moving through life not being clear on what their soul wants them to do. And then when they hit a wall, they got everybody to blame. It was a hall of mirrors. Did you stop, slow down, check with yourself? Am I in alignment with my soul? Yes. All right, what's the next step? Take a left. All right, I'm taking a left. I took a left. What should I do? Take a right. I took a right. What should I do? Go up. All right, I went up. What did I do? Writing some notes. All right, I'm writing notes. What should I do? All right, I'm listening to the soul and I'm acting. If I'm listening to my soul and I'm acting, then that means that glamour is no longer a factor. The outcomes when glamour is not a factor is success. Because the soul is not trying to trick you. When we are relaying occult metaphysics, we relay occult metaphysics in truth. So anybody that really has an eye for God, God will draw an eye on him. If anybody wants to rely on their soul ain't going to be like, you know what, nigga, fuck you, right? It's not going to work like that. If you don't know that, then glamour is your problem. Illusion is your problem. Walking around in a fog is your problem, not the fact that you don't got a lot of money. Because it's people with money still in glamour. It's people with money that you'll never have doing dumb shit. Because only the awakened mind makes glamour disappear. What are we saying? We're saying when you awaken your mind to what source is telling you in this moment, then what's happening on the outside world could never fucking matter. How could it matter if I'm keying in onto what my soul is telling me? This requires strength. This requires dedication. This requires meditation. And I can get on this platform for the next 100 years. And niggas will say, I can't meditate. Meditation is boring. Meditation is boring because you are in a fog. It's supposed to be boring. Imagine meditation being a view of Atlantis in its true height, in all of its glory, and an ability to peer in that reality and go to different places in location and receive different wisdoms, being able to go to heaven and talk to ancestors and have contact with long lost loved ones. Imagine meditation to be a glimpse into the spiritual world, which the spiritual world lives inside of all Black people. I know that the spiritual world lives in all Black people. And I could say a lot of things, but I'm not gonna say it. All I can say is, why do they got you shaking your ass? Why do they got you in fucked up relationships? Why is they sending you bots as boyfriends? Why? What do you mean bots as boyfriends? Ask a girl what her last date was, and she'd be like, well, that nigga really didn't talk much. He didn't really say too much anything. And when I tried to trigger conversation, he said, system malfunction. What do you mean? Astrology? You gotta be a stupid bitch because you said astrology. My brain can't handle the word astrology. They did not program me to understand astrology. Can we fuck now? Can we fuck now? That's what they programmed me to do. Those leggings look nice. Here goes $40. Do you want to go out on a date? Which I'm not gonna talk. And then I wanna know if you can go half on the ticket with me, because I get paid on Friday. I could have asked you to go out a date on Friday, but I really don't get paid on Friday. This really my last 40. I'm doing all of this for some cheeks because this how I was programmed. Ask a girl. She been on a date just like that. You like, could you crazy? Ask a girl. I guarantee you. I guarantee you she been on a date just like that. These niggas don't talk. These niggas do not talk. These niggas do not have a moral depth. Niggas have no respect. These niggas are in a fog of glamour. See, he liked you for how your curves was because in his mind, a girl with a fat ass is gonna make his life better. Do y'all know what I'm talking about right now, or do I sound crazy? Because y'all like, damn, everybody that I talk to be illuminated as fuck hood. I don't know what you're talking about. Robots, huh? Can I get some pussy, please? Can I please have some ass? I know niggas is robots. I know niggas is robots because niggas will text at the same time the same thing. What you doing? Good morning, beautiful. 5 niggas sent good morning, beautiful at the same time. Whole bot. Y'all dealing with whole bots out here in these streets. What you doing? Good morning, beautiful. Niggas is living in a fog. Glamour is a world problem. Glamour seeks a favorable external circumstance. So what a man wants is peace. When he's in glamour, see, a man can have peace by himself. You ever met a man who has peace within himself? He don't really need you for shit, right? That's a man, right? That's a man, because he is not in glamour. He can fucking go fishing, right? A nigga that's fishing, nigga at the gun range, nigga working out, nigga just doing his 1-2. He at peace. He don't need a bitch for shit. He in alignment. Most niggas want a girl that is boom boom bow and doing this and doing that and having them going this away, and then when they get with her, give me a second. The overall need for a thing that looks good and a thing that feels good, something that they can fuck, right? A desire being achieved. And you know how dudes is, they want a threesome, then they want a foursome. And it's like, you want a threesome every month? Can we get a threesome every week? We get a threesome every day? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with a nigga ain't never enough when they in the fog. When you in a fog, I'm gonna tell you this. You ever notice how nigga have 100 million and be like, fuck that, man, I need $1 billion. I'm the next person to have $1 billion. And they get $1 billion and be like, it ain't enough. Your ass got $100 in the bank. They out here like everybody in the fog, right? I'm not saying you should have $100, but I'm saying you can get a certain amount of money and know like, okay, this is what I need. This is for me. And if I want to make more, I'll just incrementally, like that's what you learn when you kind of study money, is that everything is kind of based off of like compound interest and living off the interest and having a correct technique, right? So anybody who is like, I need $100 billion, they leading you to destruction. The blind leading the blind. People living in the fog. Like if you really wanted money and you really wanted your money to grow, you would take the money that you have and learn how to grow it. You would work with the money that you have, learn a correct technique of properly investing, some type of system that says in 10 years, my money will 10x. That's more correct. But if you sitting back like, I'm just going to wait till I hit the major home run, you living in a fog. Or if I got this amount of money, I still ain't satisfied, I need $2 million instead of $1 million, then you're living in a fog. You're in glamour. You thought, like you said, once I get $1 million, nigga, I'm gonna be good. Now you spent $1, now you got 999,000, and now you like, goddamn, I need to get back to the drawing table. I feel broke again. When you talk to people, this is everybody's story. The only people who don't understand this story is the people who haven't accomplished their particular glamours yet. But each glamour leads to another glamour. You ever move to a different neighborhood, a nicer neighborhood, and now you got nicer neighborhood problems. You got the housing committee, or now you got to mow your grass every week. You can't have this in your front lawn. You can't have this front door. Everybody's front door got to be green. You got different types of problems. When you was in the hood, yeah, niggas would break in your crib and steal your goddamn flat screen, but at least you could live the way you wanted to live. So every desire, every glamour has a flip side to it. And the people who really works hard to get there, their pride, which is another glamour, won't even tell you, man, this shit ain't what it's cracked up to be, unless... And then you will hear people who break free of certain glamours. And they'll tell you, man, when I was there, it was fucked up. Like, you can go and read every single black artist's autobiography and biography, and it'll say, he signed a fucked up contract. One's in the chat. Is that gonna stop niggas from signing fucked up contracts? Why? Because it's all glamour. The glamour to be that nigga is way more important than to read your fucking contract. Glamour will have you in the fog. And so everything that you really want, this career that you really want, this success that you really want, the problem is not in if you don't get it. The problem is that when you do get it, hopefully you're not depressed in a space where you gotta get your bearings together to go after it all over again. And you done fucking sacrifice people, done did spells, rituals, blood, sweat, tears, just to get it. And a motherfucker say, well, this ain't enough. Now you got $1 million, like motherfuckers sign a record deal and they'll say, I signed $1 million record deal. Never realizing that that's a loan. A loan. That million ain't even theirs. They gotta make that money back. And if they don't make it back, them niggas owe the record company. And you like, man, I want my kid to be a famous star. Why? Cause of glamour. I'm in the fog. Glamour. I'm in the fog. One time for the one time. If you want to read the article, the link is in the description. If you don't want to hear nothing that I got to say and you want to get this information a little bit clearer, I say read this article. But before, if you do want to read this article and you want to get an understanding, read the Emotions Are Illusions article first. The links are in the description. Join my Substack, $5 a month. If you want to get freaky and nasty, it will be $55 for the whole year. This is what I do full time. So any donation, any support is greatly appreciated. I know y'all probably gave donations before, and I appreciate those donations before, but I do this for real. I do put my life on the line for spiritual development, and I've jumped off of a cliff 4 years ago, and I'm still flying. And the reason that I'm flying is because of y'all. So thank y'all for supporting me as this channel has grown and people have resonated with this message all over the world. And I say all of that to say, you niggas better meditate. You need to meditate, because everything that I've ever been, I really can understand the person that I was before. I know that person more than the person that I'm becoming. And the person that I was before was a person that was in the fog. And I worked tirelessly on the article. I worked tirelessly on understanding this material, applying this material, removing the fog for myself, just to say, okay, this is something that is useful to Black people. What will happen when you remove the fog? What will you see? I don't know. You will see the greatness of your being. You will see the city within. You will see heaven. You will see that you are connected to the spiritual world. And if you don't see that, then it is because the fog exists. It is because glamour exists. I mean, if you are successful and when you meditate, you don't see the God within, then that success is not enough for you, right? You can get to a point in life that you know. And when you know, we're not saying that this shit should be 50-50. We're saying unobstructed joy. The greatest feeling ever to know that 1, this is not a mistake. 2, you are not a victim. 3, you are not powerless. And 4, the living soul and spiritual world is found within Black people. This is why we oppress, and this is why we given so many false narratives. Because if we were to remove the fog or the blackness, for lack of a better words, we would see the light of our ancestors and spiritual entities and energies, and not only see it, bring it forward. So we're talking about occult metaphysics. We're talking about getting deep into this thing. And in order to get deep into this thing, you can't go off appearances. What am I talking about? Your life right now. We talking about your life right now. Okay? And your life right now may not be the way that you want it to be. And you might look at the way that it is and say, man, I don't want it to be like this. But the appearance deceives many. The appearance of things deceives many. Things are not always as they seem. So usually when you're not aware of your soul will throw blocks in your life to torment you? No. So you can recognize it. So look at the appearance. Look at the scenario. Look at the situation and take your eyes off of it. Put your eyes into the soul and say, why am I here? What am I doing? This is an illusion, isn't it? This is some fog, isn't it? Clear the fog away. Because I was in a place where the most peculiar things was happening in reference to put the foot on my neck. And I was feeling the energy of the foot being on my neck. And that's what evoked the study of this conversation, evoked the bringing forth of emotions being illusion and glamour and Maya. Because I was in, one would say, a dark place, but within that dark place, I found that conversation. And when I found this conversation, I started to research this conversation. I started to embody this conversation. And this conversation is what I needed. And it was so powerful for me because when I look at my life, I could look at the appearance of things and I could feel a certain type of way. However, when I got past that, when I got clear on what Spirit was doing for me and showing me in the grand scheme of things, I said the problem isn't the appearance. The problem is me not taking the next foot in front of the next one. I'm not where I want to be. I'm okay with saying that. And I'm also okay with saying I'm taking the steps that I need to take. And I'm so grateful today that I'm able to take the steps because it's a lot of people like me that haven't came into this gnosis and elucidation much more powerful than me, but didn't realize that God was on the inside and they're no longer existing. They're no longer aware. They're still in the fog. And removing the fog is at a base level good because it improves your life. But at another point, it gives you the keys to the kingdom of the spiritual world. Because I'm going to tell you a truth. You're going to transition one day. And people who transition without gnosis, they transition into darkness. Nobody says this. And they will lie to you on YouTube and say, oh, when I died and it was such a wonderful experience and I came down. No, I haven't talked to people. Say, man, I got shot and I died and I seen nothing but blackness and darkness. It was the scariest thing ever. And then they resuscitated me. Man, it's a scary place for our ancestors. It's a scary place for our ancestors. They haven't been fed. They haven't been seen because their progenitors are in a fog. Your ancestors will die and you'll get back on the same shit you was on before they transition. You'll get back to the rat race. You'll get back to the money. I see it happen all the time. Me, on the other hand, and I'm no better, I'm just a little different. Death really shook me to the core It shook me and broke me down. I said, no, death can't be the end. So I created and went on this spiritual journey to figure out, why do people transition? And people transition for a lot of reasons, and everybody is going to transition. But the key to this thing is illumination of the soul before you transition. You won't get to the illumination of the soul if you worried about where you at in life, or where you not at life, or your ambitions and being met, or whether or not you in a relationship or not, because none of that shit really matters in reference to the illumination of the soul. We're talking about the quality of life. The quality of life could be in reference to, I had money, I had bitches, I got my ass ate, everything was great. That's an ego quality of life. You know what the soul feels about that? Absolutely nothing. Because in order to listen to the soul and embody the soul, you create the quality of life that is embodiment of the soul. And when you are on this path, the emotional feelings that you feel, you don't feel. So what's happening when you're feeling fucked up? I want you to really think about the times that you feeling fucked up, and I hope you can take notes. When I'm feeling fucked up, or when I'm in a dark emotional place, that just means I'm not listening to my soul. One's in the chat if that resonate with you, if y'all can understand where I'm coming from with this conversation. When I'm feeling fucked up, that only means that I'm misaligned to my soul. It don't mean that my foot got stepped on. It don't mean that my baby daddy ain't shit. It means, because I can't control whether he not shit or not. The only thing that I can control is whether I'm aligned to my soul, I'm listening and embodying, because I want to live the quality of life that my soul has for me. And maybe my soul is telling me to leave this fucked up job because it's not in reference to the quality of my soul. Maybe my soul is telling me, wait a second, to leave this fucked up relationship because it doesn't embody the quality of my soul. Maybe. I'ma leave any bitch on the planet in reference to my wife, believe that or not. I'm leaving all my exes. They don't get no replay value, no run back. When you find it, it's a real thing, it's a sure thing. So what are we going to do? We're either going to suffer or we're going to be free. Suffering is caused by the prison of feelings and emotions, i.e. fog. And when I tell you that everything is a glamour, trust me when I say everything is a glamour. Oh, damn, hood, that mean I can't do shit? No, that means that every waking moment of your life, you are striving for nothing but clarity. Because what is not a clarity? What is not a glamour? Clarity. Clarity is not a glamour. Being clean on what your soul is telling you is not a glamour. Being able to start your business, get into a relationship, get your ass ate the right way, feeling sorry for yourself, all glamours. Ambition, spiritual superiority, leader of a spiritual group, wanting to help people, wanting to look good, wanting motherfuckers to love you, wanting to love other people, all glamour. Should you not do that? I don't know. If your soul tell you to do it, then do it. But if your soul ain't in alignment with it, hey, I don't give a fuck. Well, he should be doing what he should be doing. If his soul tell him to not fuck with your ass, you ready for this? If his soul tell you to never fuck with your ass again, then he gonna listen to his soul. You ready for that? Well, I feel like he should be, but what if? I'm not gonna get into the what ifs. Let's just say when you follow your soul, you follow your soul. And if another fucker nigga is following his soul or not following his soul, does not concern you. We talking about suffering versus not suffering. So when you are angry at people, baby daddy included, you are suffering. You are taking these emotions that you have to perceive the spiritual world and bring forth your spiritual gifts and wasting it on a dirt knuckle dragging ass nigga that you gave pussy on a hot and steamy Saturday night. Now he's the bane of your existence. Really, he's just something that you need to let go of. You must understand that emotions are illusions. So how you feel in reference to said baby daddy is something that should be examined, not something that should be followed. I really hate my baby daddy, and that's just what it is. Following your emotions. I really hate my baby daddy, but let me understand why I hate my baby daddy. Studying your emotions. I hate my baby daddy and I'm studying my emotions, and now I'm realizing that it's not him, it's XYZ digga 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 dig. I release this anger that I have for my baby daddy. Now I am free from said fog of the anger and suffering that I had on another person following his soul, or another person following her soul. Listen, if that girl don't want to be with you, you shouldn't be mad at her for not wanting to be with you. Her soul says, fuck you, nigga. And trust me when I say, when you find the one, they won't give you the energy. When you find the one, you know it at a parasympathetic level. What do husbands and wives do every single day together? Y'all never guess this, I'm gonna tell you. They sleep. Now, if you in a relationship with somebody that you can't get comfortable with, that you can't sleep with for whatever reason, that's also saying that your parasympathetic system is saying, run, bitch, run. But you're not clear. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Because if you was clear, you would have been left. When I'm with a girl that I'm not comfortable around, I'm not sleeping around her. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, I'm not going to sleep. This is how y'all husbands and baby daddies cheat on you and you don't never really know. Because he ain't about to be sleeping with these hoes. He ain't about to be falling asleep with no bitch. He gonna get some pussy and he gonna be home by dinner. What you cooking for dinner, babe? Oh, buffalo chicken dip. That's my fucking favorite. I'm on the way. Where are you coming from? Shit, had to work a couple hours extra. That nigga coming from Tatalicious' house. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Okay? But don't trip, because if he going to sleep, trip if you want to. I'm just giving you spiritual understandings over the person that you love versus the person that give you fucking anxiety. Because in reference of love and emotional crystallization, you ain't gonna know the fucking difference. And when you in relationships and you get close to people, you don't use them as springboards for love, joy, and happiness. You use them as fucking shadow projections of your worst and darkest qualities. Now every day is a fucking dark day because every day you in the fog, but you got a man or you got a woman, but you don't know how to treat them because you're not in tune with your soul. You in tune with your glamour. I just need somebody. I just need to be loved. Somebody should love me. Why? Because that bitch is being loved across the street. And she's also licking ass. Is you willing to do that? Let's talk about one of the biggest glamours known to man that y'all spiritual people get y'all into. Manifestation. Manifest. Spiritual community. Manifest. You gotta manifest when you're spiritual. Manifest. Glamour. Glamour. Because you're materialistic, because you think when you get the big house, because you think when you get everything on your Amazon wish list, because you think once you get all of the different color variations and color patterns on your Pinterest, everything's gonna work out right. You got how your baby daddy gonna look, how the type of pictures y'all gonna take, the clothes you gonna wear. It's all in your Pinterest. Never knowing that it was glamour. Never knowing. See, glamour is a problem, right? Because you can have an expectation of how you want your family to be, and that will be the predominant energy of your family. The problem is you don't put no actual effort into the cultivation of your family. It's a man right now think he a good father, only pick up his kids on the weekend. And this nigga would tell you, man, I pick up my kids every fucking weekend, nigga. Every other weekend ever since, nigga, I'm a good dad. Right? And so much has been put into, well, he got money, that we can't see it for glamour. You can have conversations with people, and when like on the internet, just regular conversation is like what you look for in a man. And the first thing a bitch say is a nigga with money. He got to be making a certain amount of income. And because it's glamour, because it's fog, you'll never think like this don't have shit to do with relating to a nigga, whether he got money or not. Well, do I need to be broke person? If that's what you attract, it's not about being broke or rich. It's about being materialistic, because you can work on some shit every single day, a business, something that you love, a craft, a skill, an ability, and make a lot of money. But you wasn't wishing for it. You wasn't hoping for it. You was putting in that fucking work. Is it wrong to have a big ass house? No. Is it wrong to have money? No. But if you don't got it, you shouldn't feel a certain way if you do not have it. And if you want it, then get it. What's not glamour? Going to the store. Why? Because if you niggas wanted some hot Cheetos, you just get your ass up, go to the store, get hot Cheetos. A house and money should be the same energy. Nigga, I wake up in the morning and get to some cash. One way or another. If I got to do a DoorDash, I'm going to get to it. It don't matter. It don't matter. It's too many things to do for you not to get to it. You don't have to glamorize or wish about it. Niggas got a car. If you got a car, you can get to it. You got a license, you got something, you got skill, talent, ability, you can get to it. You don't need to wish for it and hope for it. I want to be clear with that, because when people say, well, I'm not materialist, I'm going to just be broke. No, I'm not saying that. Get your bag. Get you a nice ass house. But know how to get it. Because let's talk about business, right? You could use your own money for business. You could get a loan for business. Or you can get a grant for business. Nothing is stopping you from getting a grant for your business. Nothing is stopping you from getting a loan for your business. Nothing is stopping you from using your own money. If you don't educate yourself, you might think that your only option is to use your own money. So you say, I can't start my business because I don't have enough money. Or you might be educated a little bit more and say, I don't have good enough credit to get a loan to start my business. You could be educated even more to say, how do I write grants effectively to get the money that I need to start my business? And if there is guidelines and bylines, I'm not even going to complain. I'm going to acquiesce and go along with the grants and bylines, because I wasn't trying to be a revolutionary. I was only trying to get a grant to start my business without using my own money and a loan. If that was your focus, you could accomplish it. Materialism say, I got to use my own money. I don't got enough money, because of the self-pity glamour. The I'm black and oppressed glamour. the racial glamour of slavery. Your worst qualities are glamour. The things that you want a person to feel sorry for you about is a glamour, because you're ultimately saying, I can't get up and get it for myself. And if you can't, you can't. But usually when you clear on yourself and you listen to your soul, and your soul say there's nothing you can do about it, then you feel good about it, because your soul says be patient. When your soul tell you to be patient, it's not trying to trick you. Being patient just mean be patient. Now, if you're trying to manifest your whole life and you ain't manifesting what you think, and you got all of these emotions in reference to what you manifest, what you didn't manifest, you're in an emotional crystallization process that most people don't never get out. They just don't never get out. And as I stated earlier, this is coming from our grandparents, passing it on to our parents, passing it on to us. So the psychological individuation process of getting in tune with yourself is not the one thing, it's the only thing. Give me a second. Just wanted to show y'all this. Fit to screen. Glamour, emotions, mental. So the mental is everything you're thinking about. Now, when you're thinking in a fog, you're thinking on like a loop, because you cannot see everything that's taking place at the spiritual level. You can. Now, we've heard when you are children say, I got an imaginary friend. Children play with dolls. Children will be like in a place where they see like these things that are happening. We usually emotionally get our kids out of that, because they need to make money, they need to be smart, they need to go to school, and you can't be a dumbass, because it's not that you care if your kids is dumb or smarter. You don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want people looking at you like, you ain't teach your kids how to read? Like, what type of parent is you? So you instill these, like, because you are emotionally fixed into an idea that children have to be smart, children have to get straight A's, they gotta read, they gotta do math. And as I'm saying it, you're like, well, they're not supposed to be like that? Right? It's another way? Like, it is another way, but that's not the point. I'm saying that you haven't ever even thought that there is a different way in how to raise the child. And the reason why we don't think in different ways is because our emotions are fixed. Now, fixed emotions are a powerful thing. When a person have a fixed emotion and they enter a room and they enter a space like a supervisor or a boss of some sort, you're not like, if you and your homeboy like, man, nigga, that bitch ass was fat, nigga, just that and the third, man, da 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 da. Depending, and there's variables and variations on the thing, but usually when the boss enter into the cubicle, the conversation stop, because the boss's emotional fix is more centered in, y'all can't act this way at the job. Like, if y'all clown around and play, y'all gonna make the job look right, and I acted a certain way, and the way that I acted got me promoted to a supervisor. So y'all niggas, if y'all not acting like me, y'all out of line. So he don't even gotta say that, really. He can just walk in there, and she can just walk in there. You be like, Miss Johnson, can I help you with anything? Nah, nigga, I just wanted to say that bitch's ass was fat as fuck. I was seeing that shit too, nigga. And he dap you up. Now you got a different energy rapport with him. So now you walk in, the conversation go, because his emotions is more malleable, more changeable. It's not really fixed. So think about your emotional fixation, and I need women to really do this in reference to their men and their children. When you walk in a room, do people say, mommy? Or do they say, oh shit, I'ma tuck mines in. Debo just came in here. And don't be mad at them. Understand that when you are clear on your soul, we're equating that to unlimited, infinite, unimaginable joy. When your emotions are set and fixed in a way that you first don't have an open mind, and if you don't have an open mind, you'll go in these cycle loops. And these cycle loops are what makes you feel, because your mind, your emotions are tethered to your mind. So wherever your mind goes, your emotions go. So when your mind goes to the spiritual world, your emotions follow. And this is where your emotions should be. Because when your emotions are grounded and vested in the truth of your soul, you can't go wrong. When you are fixed on the emotion where you say, I like this boy and he shouldn't cheat on me. And when he cheats on me, I feel bad. Vice versa. You got to learn to get out of, and a part of being a magician is being with people who are not faithful, who are not monogamous. Because if you fixed in that energy, I was fixed in that energy and I had to marry a whole prostitute. Not marry, but be in a relationship with a prostitute. And if I'm in that situation, right, and I'm not clear that my spirit is initiating me into something I don't actually know, but I know for sure she's fucking these niggas. And what was happening was it didn't bother me at an emotional level. So what I learned after the relationship was over was that I could love any woman because her having sex was not going to send me into an emotional tizzy. Why could you fuck somebody else other than me? And all of this. And I'm going to tell you, it's men in a relationship with you right now. And if you say, I want to fuck this other guy, they're going to be mad. That is not a person who loves you. That is a person who is, and you can, and because you're in a fog and because you're in an illusion, illusion's nature is to fight, to defend. Illusion wants you to stay in the house of mirrors. Illusion does not want you to liberate yourself. So he better not fucking cheat, right? Or you're gonna fucking bust his fucking ass, right? That's the energy you want, fine. But when you walk into a room, he's not going to be happy to see your ass. He'll tolerate you, put up with you. But if you're not emotionally in tune, it's because you're not thinking in a place of everlasting, unlimited joy. You saying, nigga, if you cheat on me, I'ma cut you. And this energy is why people die. This is why people get old. If you understood your emotions, if you were to clear yourself of the glamour, you would be able to be immortal. You would able to have connections with the ancestral realm, connections with the soul. And what would this amount to? I don't know. Because if I tell you what it's going to amount to, you might be like, oh yes, I'm going to do it for that. And that's a glamour. It's a reason that the mind can't perceive the soul, because if the mind would perceive the soul, the mind's ego would be out of this world. You'll be telling everybody that they need to kiss your ass. So we have a level of humility. We have a level of ignorance, which builds character. But when you are ready to see, when you are ready to activate your spiritual truth, your soul will be there. Now, I'm not going to leave y'all fucking hanging. I'm not here just to talk to y'all. I'm giving y'all some work to do. If what I'm saying sounds interesting to you, do it if you want to. Don't do it if you want to. I don't really give a fuck. But we're dealing with the emotions, which are water, and we're dealing with the mind, which is air. So air and water and mind and emotions are something that is going to have to be checked. You have to drink your water, coconut juice, or whatever you take to hydrate. Some people say they don't drink water, and I'm not the one to say one thing or another. Watermelon juice, whatever you take to hydrate, you have to purge the body. Your body must stay always purged. We're talking about alkaline, natural, neutral. We're not saying I'm going to take this water fast. I'm going to do this cleanse. I'm going to do this thing. Well, if you're doing that thing, then you're going to be in a sense of glamour, because you're also saying, because you took that fast and you did that cleanse and you did that, then you magically going to be better. And then when you're not better, you're going to be looking at the motherfucker that had you do the fast like this was some bullshit. No, fasting is bullshit. Not fasting is like, nah, don't get it wrong. I'm not bashing nothing. I'm talking about doing something like fasting. Fasting, if you fast once a week or fast once a month for the purpose of fasting, then that's righteous. But if you're fasting for some goal or you're purging for some goal, then it won't work. The same way as working out. I'm not about to stand on a scale. I'm not about to tell you how much weight I lost. I'm not about to do none of that, because I'm going to be working out every day. I'm going to be exercising every day, because this is just who I am. I was in a fog. I dealt with death and I didn't handle it well. And I used to work out. I worked out from 19 to 26. And from 26 to 38, I gained all of the weight that I lost. I lost all of the physique. So it's like, okay, when you are working out to look good and life come knock you on your ass, you're not going to be doing it didn't translate. So now I'm in this space of making it a lifestyle every day, like not like I'm to sleep early. I'm up early, weekends, fuck a weekend, fuck a vacation. It's every day, constantly being aware of what the soul is telling me. Now, how do you purge the mind? You have to take notes or you have to journal. Because if you do not take notes and you do not journal, whether artistically or just taking notes, those thoughts that are in your head, they're not released. And just because you journaled some shit a year ago and it's coming back up, you need to journal it again. When you feel like shit and these emotions take over you, it's because your mind has led your emotions down the wrong path. Drink water, journal effectively, with a purpose, presently, from a moment to moment basis. And you will always be able to intuitivize. Intuitivizing means learning from the soul. This is your teacher. This is your guru. And glamour blocks you from seeing it. Thinking that you're going to be successful is going to block you from seeing the soul. You will be successful if only you'll follow the soul. If you do not accomplish your goals, but you follow your soul, you're going to be successful. If you accomplish everything you set your heart out to accomplish, but you did not listen to your soul, you're going to be looking at this shit really confused. Why? Because there is a spiritual soul neural mycelium network that operates at the undercurrent that makes sure that everything happens or don't happen. And if you're able to perceive that, you will be in alignment. If you cannot see it, you will bump your head. Okay? So that was the presentation. That was the soul fucking draining work of the week. Man, I put a lot of effort and energy into this. So the Cash App is Hood Mystic 38. If you got $2, $3, I really would appreciate it, because I really would like to get a goddamn hot dog or something like that. You feel me? Yeah, I'm ready to move on to a whole different subject though. So be sure to continue this work and continue to illuminate yourself. This is going to be a big thing. I'm going to be the reason why I did the articles and I did the video, because this subject matter and this realization is going to come up a lot. So instead of me saying or trying to explain it in a short form version and it going one ear out the other, if ever I did this video for people who like wanted to get a video and have it where it's a modern take on what glamour, illusion, and Maya looks like in our everyday walk. And when you deal with glamour and remove glamour, how much of a key it is in your spiritual development. Like this might be the thing that you was missing in your spiritual development so you could go to the next level in your spiritual development, because you could actually perceive everything that spirit is telling you, and you're not worried about whether you got enough money, whether people feel sorry for you, or caught up in no glamour. You're not blocked by no fog. All you can see is your soul's wisdom, okay? So I am Kyrie Anthony. I'm here because I care about your spiritual development. I shared this message in hopes that you get into your spiritual development, because we are all one thing. Your gnosis, your salvation is also my salvation. The only trick is that you got to save your damn self. The only trick is that you got to wash your own ass, okay? I'll do anything for you. I promise I would. But I'm not going to wipe your ass for you. You got to do that. And I'm not going to do your spiritual development for you. You got to do that. So take it seriously. Draw nigh to God, and God will draw nigh to you. Release the glamour, release the expectations, and get serious with the spiritual work. Because when I say that this is the time when the spiritual world is alive, you would love to see it. So if you can't see it, it's because of the glamour. So purge. Get clear, elevate. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Share it. If you like this video, like the video. All right. I really do appreciate it. And if you know somebody that can get help by this content, share it to them. Send it to a DM with a message. Hey, I just seen this video on YouTube. I think it can help you. And that's how my message gets shared. I'm not supported by the algorithm, and the only thing that I can rely on is people sharing my content at this point. So if you know somebody, do me a solid and share it to them. Let them know this video really helped me, and I think it could do the same for you. But with that said, I'll be back to discuss the new moon coming up, and got another rabbit hole for my Substackers, and we're going to continue along this spiritual journey. I'm with you. I care about you. I love you, and you don't even got to do the same for me. But with that being said, man, I'm going to just sign off, and I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
The colostrum is a really thin sheet of gray matter in the brain, tucked deep within each of the hemispheres of the brain.
Fred believes the clostrum's central location and shape suggest it regulates communication between the departments.
What happens next is that we seem to observe a radical change in the way that brain regions talk to each other. And it may be within this context that we're experiencing learning and a possible even rewiring of the circuits that govern our behavior. And it may be that it's that radical reorganization that allows people to encounter new psychological insights that they hadn't encountered before.
It's almost like they've seen this like kind of grand menu within their mind that they weren't aware of, that this greater number of possibilities that they can explore.
It's like reprogramming the operating system of a computer. You're getting down to very basic code level changes that can enduringly change someone going forward.
What's up, guys? This is Kyrie with White Rabbit Psychedelics, and I get a lot of questions of, is it safe? If I take a microdose capsule, will I go crazy? I'm a little weary. So I just wanted to do a quick little video on what happens when you take a pill, and just let you know that nothing crazy is going to happen, nothing weird is going to happen. I got a capsule right here. This is pure grade A, psilocybin. I'm going to take a capsule, and I'm going to just show you guys that just nothing can happen.